What's going on today, guys? So my question for you today is this. When is it considered okay or acceptable to modify a traditional style or vintage styled instrument? I have today with me my Gibson SG. This is a 2016, and I really enjoy this guitar, but I don't play it very often because, I'll be honest, I'm a modern metal musician, and this doesn't really fit into that aesthetic as far as I'm concerned. You might feel otherwise, but for me, I always consider the SG to be kind of a classic rock instrument. And don't get me wrong, I love classic rock. I grew up on it. Some of my favorite songs are very old songs. I love the classic stuff, but I just don't play that myself. So for that reason alone, I just don't pick up this guitar very often. I've been considering swapping out the pickups, for instance, to give it something more of a modern sound, whatever that is, and maybe going with some heavier gauge strings so I can kind of do some drop tuning on it. But otherwise, like I said, I don't play this guitar very often. I don't really feel inspired to pick it up. However, I will never, ever get rid of this guitar, and I'll tell you why. As it happens, I inherited this guitar from a very close family friend who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. So for that reason alone, I'll never, ever sell or get rid of this guitar for any reason. But I still want to enjoy it. I still want to play it once in a while, and I just don't feel inspired to do so because in its current state, this kind of, just straight out of the factory, it is what it is. It's just not really me. Am I just better off leaving this kind of, OEM stock as is? Is that really the way this type of guitar is supposed to be treated or kept or collected? I don't, whatever, for lack of a better term, I just don't know what to do with this guitar. And although I do have a lot of respect for Gibson SGs, especially this one, I just don't play it very often. I don't pick it up. I don't really feel inspired to play the kind of music that generally a lot of players use this instrument for. So I think a lot of that is due in part to the fact that it just doesn't sound to me as a very modern type of guitar. My question to you guys is basically, should I modify this? Why? Why not? Let me know down in the comments. I know that this guitar isn't very expensive. It's kind of a run-of-the-mill SG. There's nothing particularly special about it, except for the fact that for me, I have a sentimental attachment to it. But it's not really collectible per se. It's not really vintage. I mean, it's only a 2016, right? It's not something that's extremely valuable and you kind of don't want to mess with it. It's something that I could tweak it, I could modify it, I could swap out some parts if I felt like it, but then would it really retain the same kind of spirit of what this guitar was intended to be? And of course, our family friend who used to play it really enjoyed playing it just as is. So should I keep it the way it is, or should I consider, modernizing it, making it something that I'm going to want to play more often? One more thing to factor in too is the fact that I don't have any kids, so I have no one to leave my instruments to, down the road. So is there any reason for me to really retain, the factory setup for any reason at all other than the fact that I know that it's still factory setup? In other words, this guitar isn't really going to appreciate and value that much. So what's really the point? I mean, aren't all of these guitars that we talk about really tools for inspiration, tools for writing and playing music? And if that's the case, I'm not really playing a lot of music with this thing, but I would like to. And I think that, like I said, if I put some modern style pickups in this thing, it might really bring it back to life and then inspire me to want to play it more often. So I do want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Should I modify it? Should I not? And give me a reason why, and maybe give me a suggestion of, what kind of pickups you would put in this guitar if this was yours. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I kind of thought, this is one of my prized possessions. I never really show it on the channel. I did do a whole demo review on this guitar a couple of years ago, but it hasn't been on the channel much since then, maybe one other time. So I thought I would bring it out and kind of share it with you all. And I know there's a lot of SG fans out there. There's a lot of Gibson fans out there. This used to be a shape that I didn't particularly care for many years ago, but I've come to accept and appreciate a lot of variation and differences in guitar styles and guitar shapes, and this is one of them, right? This is an iconic shape. And this for you might be your favorite shape and your favorite guitar. You know, if it is, let me know. It's pretty cool. I like it. You know, it's got your typical badass rockin' vibe to it, but I consider this more of a classic rock instrument. But now in the modern era, I want to play the heavier stuff, and I just don't feel like this guitar kind of fits that vibe for me. So that's pretty much it, guys. Really appreciate you guys checking in on this one. It's just a quick one today. I just want to say, hey, what's going on? Got the Gibson out. Want to share it with you all, and let me know your thoughts. If you want to see a more in-depth review and demo on this guitar, I'll leave a link to my previous video, which, like I said, was a couple of years ago. And I'll also leave a link for all my other guitar reviews in case you want to check those out as well. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. I'm out of here. See ya!